Beth Kiley here for Board Game Geek, and I'm sitting down with the ever wonderful Antoine Bauza. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
We just wanted to bring you on to talk a little bit about some things that are coming out for you, some things that have happened recently. So, you always have interesting stories to share.
I hope.
So, let's talk about some upcoming projects that you have. The ones that you're obviously able to talk about.
Okay, so the first one will be, it's a working title, for now it's Last Hope. Last season it was the 10th anniversary of Ghost Stories, which was one of my first games.
I was just going to ask you, I was trying to remember what year it came out, so 10 years, okay.
It was 2008, okay, in essence, so it's still a game I love. It's still a game Repo Production loves a lot. So I wanted to give him, a new go because it was a first design, so he had a lot of flaws. And now with the 10 years of experience, I wanted to take back the design and make it better. So I work on this new version. But when I showed it to Repo Prod, it was kind of different from the original game, so they had a lot of thinking, and finally they decided to rename it, to change the name, because for them it was too different from the original Ghost Stories. So if you play Ghost Stories, it's the same playing experience. So people who play Ghost Stories will say, oh yes, it's just like in Ghost Stories. So there's those 9 tiles and those monsters, and you're going around, but almost every little bit changed, the tiles changed, the heroes changed, the monster changed, so it's a lot of little change. So they decided to, let's make a new name, a new game, and a new theme, so people don't get confused between the old and the new, in fact.
Yeah, I was over in Repo's booth earlier, and you do have a prototype out there that people are trying out. I was gonna say, which is why I imagine we weren't able to bring it over, because it is the only. Well, but certainly having played Ghost Stories before, there, even from a distance, and the explanation was in French. There were elements immediately that I recognized, and that 9 tiles in the middle, and the 4 players around the edges. So I think those of you who are fans of Ghost Stories will immediately find something to say, I feel on familiar ground already.
Yeah. In fact, there are just maybe 3 or 4 pages of rule that I cut away, and it's the same game with less rule, less exception, less fuzzy things. So it's more plain and streamed.
Now, are you able to talk about what the new theme is going to be, or is that not quite public yet?
Yeah, it will be something like a medieval fantastic setting when you play heroes in some kind of a lost and last castle in the mountain. And there will be a new big evil guy, which is not Wu-Fang, because Wu-Fang is from them. So we are thinking about making a new emblematic, new big guy. So because all people remember about Wu-Fang in Ghost Stories, so we're trying to make something similar here. So
I hope they leave the door open to a lot of good puns that we've had with all these little promo cards.
We will try to keep this spirit with.
Now, the other thing I wanted to specifically ask you about was you were one of the featured designers on the documentary that is now on Kickstarter called The Game Designers. And just talk a little bit about what that process was like to be filmed, to be highlighted, to
it was weird because it's always very interesting to know how people work, but to see how people work it's not easy, because mainly we are cutting paper and mostly of the day. So I was all the director will make this interesting for people to see, because
I think there was a shot of every designer cutting paper.
We are cutting paper, searching for pawns or everything. So. But when I saw the trailer, the director came to the working place I have in France, which is a small, an old coffee that now we use as a working place. And he spent 3 days, I think, filming and asking questions around. And maybe on 3 days we spent 2 days cutting stuff, but we also spent 1 day to talk with other designers. There was Ludovic Maublanc and Corentin Lebras, Théo Olivier, and maybe Bruno Catala was there too. So, and it was very interesting because it made us think about how people see us when we are working, you know, because we just doing our stuff and you never know how it's different on the outside. So it was very interesting, yeah. And I think when I saw the trailer, it was good. You say,
I know the trailer looked really good.
When he was filming, I think it's boring because we are cutting paper and talking about stuff that don't work in the game. So
this is terrible.
So the trailer was a very good surprise for me.
I think it's going to be really interesting to see what established designers, what new designers, what the threads that you all have in common just by virtue of you are all making a game.
Yes.
And yet, I imagine there's going to be things that are unique and different and very characteristic to you versus Matt, and you know.
Yeah, sure. But we all cut down.
But
stuff.
you all apparently cut paper, master paper cutters.
Sure.
Now, is there anything else that you're able to share that you have coming up? That's
coming up on the show here. There is Draftosaurus with an Ankama board game, which is a new release here.
I did the video for that yesterday, so I actually have that sitting in my bag over there.
Yeah, okay, so perfect. And later this year, I think you have a footage somewhere, but there will be Namiji with Funforge for Essen. And it's a standalone spin-off game of Tokaido.
Yeah.
Which is same universe, same beautiful graphics from Naiad, and same playing experience, but with different stuff going on. So I'm waiting for this game because I love this game and I'm really fond of Naiad's work. So my principal motivation to do the game was I want to work again with Naiad. With his
hey,
drawing.
That's a good motivation.
Yes. So it wasn't what I want to make a new game. I want to make a game so I can have the Naiad's work on my game again. So
I was just asking Matt Durston right before you came over that. Thank you. That I know it's not always the same, but there's usually some seed that gets an idea going, and sometimes that's a mechanic. So for him it was Chinese checkers, and for that particular game, and sometimes it's a theme, and sometimes it's a person.
Yeah, it could be a person.
I want to work with you, and let's do. That's what starts it off.
So I'm very happy to. I love the game, and Naiad is just drawing right now. So I receive on my phone some drawing, and so it's just beautiful. So I'm very happy with that.
Now, as you attend most of the major shows, and what game do you feel like people most often approach you saying, I love this game? Like when people get to see you in person, what's usually the game they say, oh, Antoine, this is amazing. I love this game.
Usually it would be Seven Wonders, Hanabi, Takenoko, or Tokaido. That's the main four. I'm not sure there is one. All
right. Well, hey, I mean, but that's. I mean, to be known for 4 titles,
yes, it's okay. So yeah, I think those 4 are the.
Now, any plans to come over to the States this year?
This year, I don't think so. I'm not sure, but maybe next year. So last year, I only have one release, which was the expansion for Seven Wonders Armada. So most of my games were delayed by publisher.
Right.
So I will have some kind of bigger this year. So maybe the year after I will make more shows because many games will be out. So.
I know, there's an endless rotation of shows. Sure. I know, right? Well, Anton, before I let you go, I mean, was there anything else that you wanted to talk about?
Thank you for having me.
Well, I was going to say, and this is my first time here in Cannes, and
did you like it?
I do. This is a really different show.
You're lucky because the weather is very good, and the few pasture it was.
I heard it was like really cold and gloomy last year, and it's
raining all the time. So you came in the good year. So good for you.
What I do think is really interesting with this show is the level of security.
Yeah.
And this show is insane.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
I mean, just to get in here, it requires they check your bags and you walk through a metal detector. even when we're getting here at 8 in the morning, and the only people that are allowed to be in here are exhibitors,
yes.
you're still having to show your badge to about four more people.
More people.
Yeah.
I know. But the show is great.
But the show is great, yeah. And I love, this is probably the most kids, and very young children.
It's very family,
yeah, it's a very family.
I like that, so.
And I love that it's free.
And it's free.
Yeah. So I did happen to have the chance for the first time that I was outside while the show was going on, and the line to get in, of course, they got to go
and
security.
Small kids and
right, yeah, I mean, it's got to be all the way down the block. Wow!
I will attend with my son here next year because we are releasing our first game together.
Oh, that's fantastic!
It's Loki, and Loki it's the kid brand of Yellow.
Yeah.
And I had meeting here, and we will release our first game, which will be a cooperative game that I designed with my son. It will be 7 years next month. I was
just going to ask how old he was. Yeah.
Next month. So I have to bring you to Cannes. Maybe you can do a signing session with me and like drawings and everything. So we will try to do that.
Well, here in the booth we've had Eric's son, Trevor, has been helping us out. He's been what we call our greeter, where he says, helps people set up the game. He's been punching, cleaning things up for us. So,
nice.
Fetching things. He very nicely took all my trash away earlier. I was like, oh, I like this. This is nice. Well, Antoine, I really appreciate you taking the time and allowing us to share a few details. I know shows are always busy for you, so thank you for coming and sitting with us for a little bit.
Thank you.